Pendo, 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 Pendo. Alright, I think that's gonna have to do, but welcome. My name's Konception2. This is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, or Philosopher's Stone, depending on where you're from. You're gonna notice right away, this is probably not exactly the version of the game you're expecting, but this is a very good version of the game, my favorite version of the game, actually. But we'll just go ahead and jump right into it so you can see for yourself. So time will start in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, as I mentioned, this is a Sorcerer's Stone, and this is for the Game Boy Color. Very different version than you might be used to seeing, based off the visual alone. Obviously, it's a pixelated graphics game, and it's actually a turn-based RPG, not an action platformer as we're used to seeing. So it's a very unique version of the game. And this game has a lot of brokenness to it, so we're gonna get into that pretty quickly into the run. Now, fortunately / unfortunately, the most stressful part of the run is in the first like 4 minutes of the run here. Once we enter the Gringotts vaults, that's when it's a bit stressful. So I'll be focusing a little bit more on that and then kind of explaining what's going on. But basically, what needs to happen is we need to encounter our first boss, which is at the end of the Gringotts vaults, right next to our vault. And then after we defeat the boss, it is imperative, absolutely imperative, that we do not hit an encounter after that, because it is very important for a glitch we're setting up. But before we head into Gringotts anyway, I'm gonna go grab an extra potion just for safety. That's just gonna make things a little bit easier for us. And then we're gonna head right into the vaults. So yeah, it's a turn-based RPG, like I mentioned. Think Final Fantasy. The Philosopher's Stone version of this game, it doesn't have a party component, so I'm gonna be Harry and I'm gonna be doing things as Harry only the whole time. I also run the Chamber of Secrets Game Boy Color version, which does introduce party components. You get to have Ron and Hermione as well. But basically, we're gonna make our way up to the boss here. We don't want to hit encounters on the way to the boss either, just because it's slow and they can hurt us. Because we're level 1, so our speed is not super great yet. But if we do hit them before the boss, it's not a big deal. It's after the boss that we really want to avoid doing. Alright, first screen is good. We have 2 screens to go through here. Get to the boss, basically. And this is the second of the 2. I'm going to save right before, that's the boss. Alright, the boss is 1 giant rat and 2 small rats. We're going to take out the smaller rats first. Alright, we're actually going to heal, just to be safe here. In a PB attempt, we'd only take 1 potion. We definitely wouldn't heal there, which makes the front part of this game extremely reset heavy from a PB perspective. We're actually going to heal again. And you'll notice there when I healed, I used the item, and I actually pressed A on a specific frame between turns, which caused the rat's turn to be skipped. We call that enemy attack skip. That's a little glitch that we're going to utilize a good chunk through the run, basically. And it allows us to use an item or flee and then skip the enemy's turn, basically. Now you're thinking, cool, I defeated this boss, right? A good idea would be to save after I defeat the boss. That way, if I do hit an encounter, then it's not a problem. But unfortunately, the other qualifier that we're going to need here is that we defeat the boss and then don't hit an encounter. But we cannot save and quit in between, because the reason why we have to defeat the boss and not hit an encounter is because we need the last encounter we had to be a victory against that boss specifically to set up a very important glitch. If we save and quit, then that data is erased from the game, so we don't have it in the kind of the background anymore. So right now we're hoping that things will go well here. So far, so good. Just gonna be playing it a little careful here. You're gonna notice me hugging the tops of walls a lot because that shrinks Harry's hitbox so that encounters can't get him as easily. And we did it. Great. Honestly, wonderful. Could not be happier with that. So the glitch that we're actually going to be setting up 3 different glitches at once here. Like I said, this game is very broken. But what we're tasked with doing right now, basically, is getting our school supplies. So we just went to our vault to get the money to pay for them, and now we're going to buy them. And we're going to buy a few extra things than what's needed in order to set up some really cool glitches. First, this is just a cauldron. We just have to buy it. It's on our school supply list. We can't really avoid it. And then we're going to head in here and we're going to buy a potion bag. Again, just something that we have to buy, can't avoid. Or else we won't be able to progress. And I'm going to hug the bottom here because that person in the gray will want to talk to me. It's an automatic little dialogue sequence that happens there, but if I hug the bottom of the screen, it does not trigger, so that's why we do that. Saves about 5 seconds or so. Now in this sweet shop, nothing here is something we have to buy, but we're going to pick up that card, which is very important for later, and we're going to buy 1 chocolate frog, also very important. Then we're going to head on over to the bookstore. Again, just getting stuff we have to get, which is our school books. And then the last shop we'll go into is the clothing shop. We're gonna buy a lot. We're gonna buy all the clothes we need, and we're also gonna buy 25 pairs of boots. Might seem excessive, you know, Harry doesn't seem like he needs to stylize himself that much, but it's for a purpose, I assure you. Bought 1 extra thing, so I'm just gonna buy the bare minimum of the boots. Usually you just buy 25 because it's faster, but I believe I bought an extra pointed hat for no reason, so it happens. We're just the bare minimum we need is 16. We only buy 25 because you can just press left once and then you're on 25 and that's fastest. But we got everything else we need and that was what's important. And now we're gonna make our way to platform 9 3/4 for the train. Now I'm gonna be setting up the most important glitch here, which is called the Frog XP glitch, but I'm also gonna be doing another glitch called the Infinite Card glitch. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna perform them first because it needs a little bit of focus, and then I'll explain them after. We're gonna get on the train here. Things are gonna look weird on the screen. Okay. We still have a little bit more to do with this, but right now we're just moving over and talking to the NPCs we need to in order to trigger the glitch, which is Neville here. That person at the window. There we are. Okay, so we're still not through it, but I am going to pick up an extra potion here. The first thing I'll talk about was the infinite card glitch. You saw I bought 1 chocolate frog, and then I went over to it, and I was able to kind of press A on it infinitely. If you go to your chocolate frogs, and instead of pressing A to click yes to use, if you hold left and A to use it, you can just press A an infinite amount of times, and each time you press A, it's going to give you 255 wizards cards, which we're going to need for card combos, which are very glitchy items in the game that cause a lot of interesting things. But now, we're on the lake. I couldn't really avoid that encounter, so we're going to hit it anyway, because we need to hit one. And this frog is not supposed to be here, and obviously there's a glitched enemy up top here. Seeing this frog means that I've done all of the frog XP glitch correctly. So we're just going to defeat the frog. And then I'll show you our little reward screen so you can check out how much experience we got, because this is the really cool part. We defeat the frog. Look at our screen here. Look at all that experience. It's all glitched out. And we just went from level 2 to the level cap, which is 99. So how did we get there, you might say? But let's start from the beginning, shall we? So, I went on the train. I did that infinite card glitch that I was mentioning. So I duplicated a whole bunch of cards. Ooh, I hit an encounter there. That's unfortunate, but just waste time. That's all. I duplicated a bunch of cards, which are very important for card combos. That was the first glitch I did. Then I went into what's called the Folio Triplicus, which has card combos in them. Card combos are something that you can use in battle, by design rather, that have special effects on battle, like they might do damage, they might cause a status change, they might heal you, or there are even some bad card combos that like heal enemies or make them stronger, or things like that. They're not meant to be used out of battle. However, if you go into your Folio Triplicus through your inventory sheet, you can use them outside of battle, and it creates a lot of interesting effects in the game. Basically, the main effect is that it duplicates the last encounter that you had. So that is why we had to keep the we had to defeat the rat boss and then not hit another encounter, because the last encounter we had to have and duplicate was the rat boss for this glitch to work. So, oh geez. So we were able to do that, which was great. And then when you duplicate that and then you talk to the NPCs in the way I did, causing that little palette swap and things of that nature, then it causes a very interesting effect. It spawns that frog, and that frog is not hard to defeat at level 1. You just hit it with a few spells, not a big deal. We're actually level 2 at that point. And then once you defeat it, for some reason, it just gives you an insane amount of XP. It bumps you from level 2 to level 90. And then we duplicate that fight again to the level 90 to level 99. And that's going to make this game a lot easier for us. And then the third glitch that I set up there, which you might have noticed while I was on the lake, is I was shooting owls out of the front of my ship. So I call this a glitch kind of very leniently, because it's actually an Easter egg that's included in the game by developers. So it was intended to be there, but it's not intended for you to find. For whatever reason, if you have 16 pairs of boots in your inventory and you pause and unpause while you're on the lake, you're gonna shoot owls out of the bow of your ship. And it makes it interesting for the lake because you can shoot encounters that are in front of you and destroy them. And it also, if you continuously press B, it kind of lags the screen a little bit. And it makes it so encounters don't spawn as well, and even if they do and they're coming at you, you have more reaction time to then pause and unpause. In which pausing and unpausing will reset their location. So there's a lot that happens in like the first 10 minutes of this game that set us up for success for the rest of the run. But now we kind of slow down a little bit. We have a cutscene here that's kind of lengthy. It's just the sorting. So we see everybody get, well, not everybody. We see Hermione get sorted, then we get sorted, and then Ron gets sorted after, and that's all we see. But very, very simple. But as you can see already, the game is busted wide open. We're level capped before we even get into the school, so we're now level 99. And that's gonna make our make it so we don't need things like equipment, because this does have like an equipment feature. Like you can grab, you know, robes and belts and gloves and hats that make things easier for you. But you don't need to, because we're level 99 and nothing's really gonna affect us that much. One other thing that I did on the lake that you might have noticed, but it was very quick, was before I duplicated the fight using another card combo on the lake, I threw on one pair of gloves, the dragon skin gloves that we bought. And that's not for any stat bonuses or anything like that. It's for a fight skip later on. We're gonna have a class, one of our classes, Transfiguration, is gonna be having us go to find a purple rabbit. And the purple rabbit is just outside. It's not too hard to find, actually. But if you don't have that specific pair of gloves on, you will go to grab the rabbit and you have to fight the rabbit in order to get it. But if you have that pair of gloves on, you can just grab the rabbit, and then that's it. Easy peasy. So now we're sorted. We need to make our way to Gryffindor, but we're gonna make 2 pit stops to grab some herbs. Some herbs, rather. Oops, stuck there. That is because for our herbology class a little bit later on, it's gonna be having us collect, I believe it's 6 different kinds of herbs. And we're just gonna grab 2 of them that are in the castle because they're the fastest and easiest to grab. Also, very convenient is that the castle has a lot of shortcuts. So we were on floor 2 there, and we just took a shortcut from floor 2 to floor 5. Skip a few floors of movement. And this is 6, and then up to 7. And we're gonna stop at another little classroom here. This one is always a little dangerous because it's a very long classroom. So it's very easy to hit encounters here, but luckily we didn't, so that's good. So basically we have 2 of the herbs needed for the class. And we're gonna go talk to the portrait here so we can get into Gryffindor. However, we don't have the password, so it sends us on this mini fetch quest in order to get the password. Basically what we need to do is Nearly Headless Nick is gonna help us out with the password, but he wants a tie to keep his head on straight. So we're actually just gonna go grab the tie first and then go talk to him and then be like, hey, we actually already have a tie. Another shortcut here, we're on floor 5. Going to the bottom here takes a shortcut to the dungeon, which is below the entrance hall. And we just have to walk through and then we're in the entrance hall where the tie is. Now you might be thinking, we were just here, right? Why not grab the tie while we were here before heading up? Great question, viewer. That is because the tie will not spawn until after you talk to the portrait. So you have to go all the way up, talk to the portrait, come all the way down, get the tie, go all the way back up. Kind of annoying, but you know, that's how games be sometimes. As busted as the mechanics are in this game, what is really strong and what we're trying to crack so we can cut down the any % time by a good margin is the story beats. We can't really get around the story beats and progress the story, so even if we get some wrong warps and things like that, it doesn't progress our objective, so it doesn't help. So we talked to Nearly Headless Nick, he's finally giving us the password, so we can finally go into the Gryffindor common room. And we just head down to sleep here and then over to our bed. So you might notice my outfit. You know, I like to dress the part. Anything for charity. You know, that's what I say. I run one or two other Harry Potter games as well, and I always like to, anytime I'm in a marathon, I like to dress up for those as well, so hope you guys like it. I live in Florida and it's very warm here, so I'm sweating it for you guys, but I'm sweating for the children. That's how I view it.
Donate for sweat.
Donate for sweat, donate for Harry Potter. Do it all.
Donations we do.
All right.
$5 anonymous donation. Thanks so much.
Thanks for that anonymous dono. I appreciate that. Yeah, let's get that money in. Save the Children is a great cause. It's a cause that I've run for quite a few times actually. I've done a lot of research into it. They've done a lot of great work, especially now with everything going on with the COVID-19 crisis. They're really helping out as many people as they can, and can't emphasize enough how much we should get that money in. And I'll be having a little personal donation incentive that I'm going to be doing a little bit, quite a bit later into the run, but I'll talk a little bit about that when we get closer. So now starts our class schedule. Basically, we have to do every class once. It's kind of tedious, but we're going to start with potions. But we made a pit stop into the card club there. We got an important card combo that we're going to need for later called Rain of Bludgers, which is basically a card combo that allows us to attack all enemies on the field. And since we're level 99, that can do a pretty big chunk of damage. And since we've duplicated all those cards, we can cast that Rain of Bludgers card combo quite a bit in battle. Or Neville. For some reason, on day 1 of potions, while everyone else is sitting down, he's brewing a potion and it explodes in his face, so we gotta get the cure for him. That's gonna involve us getting 3 ingredients, 2 of which are in Snape's office adjacent to us, which is nice, but the other one is outside. So first, we're gonna try and hit an encounter here because we need Snake Fangs, so I'm gonna hit this on purpose. Hopefully it snakes, and it is. It's 1 black and 1 brown snake. The black snake can't drop Snake Fangs, but the brown one can. So we're gonna go for it anyway and hope that we get one. We got antidotes instead. Let me just check. Because I was gonna say that I think that's glitched because a brown snake can't drop an antidote, so the fact that I saw 2 antidotes there tells me that that second antidote was actually snake fangs. This game is very busted, so it was a little weird. The black snake can drop the antidote, but brown snakes can only drop snake fangs, so the fact that I saw 2 antidotes there kind of told me that I got my snake fangs. Which is good. First encounter is really great. Sometimes you have to duplicate that fight a lot in order to get the fangs that you're looking for, but we got it. So, snake fangs, and then we talk to that chalkboard picture of the snake to get the boomslang skin, and that's the second ingredient. And now the third ingredient, which is 2 sets of beetle eyes, are going to be in Hagrid's garden here. Luckily, they're in the same spot every time. They're in this bush, and then this bush up here. And then we got them. Now, it's all about skating through and trying to make sure we don't hit encounters. If you haven't gathered, by the way, already, these small bluing puffs of cloud, those are your encounters. So, and then when you see bigger clouds, that's your boss fights. Not that any boss fight for us is going to feel particularly difficult now that we're level 99, but just so you know what you're looking at. So that was a really good potion segment, actually. Very, very quick. The only time waste that I had was having to check to make sure that I got snake fangs, which is fine. Yet Snape still takes points away, or says that we did it too slow, despite us doing that really fast, actually, so pretty good. Next class we're gonna do is flying. Now, this is a Harry Potter game, right? You're probably assuming, oh yeah, we're gonna get some Quidditch for sure. Unfortunately, this run does not feature Quidditch. So, it features flying 3 different times, but none of them are for Quidditch, so... as you can see here, we're making our way to the flying pitch, but we make 2 pit stops there to pick up 2 more of the herbs that we need, so that's 4, if you're counting at home. And we need 6 different ones. You might have noticed as well that as soon as I picked up the herb, my feet just kind of stopped moving as I glided across the grass there. I like to call that some swag movement. It does not save time, doesn't do anything, just looks cool, looks rad, so I do it for fun. Neville's very bad day. After having a potion explosion, he falls off a broom and breaks his arm. He had some F's in the chat for Neville, that'd be great. He's having a really hard time. But here's our first flying segment against Draco, who has the Remember All. Now this one is tough. It looks like it should be kind of easy to avoid the trees, but they pop up so frequently and randomly that it's really hard to avoid them all the time. So we've hit 2 there already, which is not too bad. Anytime I hit less than like 4, I feel pretty good about myself, so we'll see how we do. Yeah, 2. 2 is good. 2 is good, honestly. We'll take that. That's pretty fast. Another interesting thing that I always like to point out, just because I think it's weird that this game does it. So usually, this is a Game Boy game, Game Boy Color game. So you would think, right, you should mash A and B to get through text faster, right? For some reason, no. So if mashing B is good, mashing B is just fine. But if you want to mash text the fastest, you can't use A. For some reason, A causes like a lag during text boxes. It's not fast to use. So when I mash, I'm actually using B and select, because those are the 2 buttons that you can mash to progress the text the fastest. Alright, that is the 5th one that we need. Now we do need 6, but we're going into herbology now anyway, and that is because the 6th herb will not spawn until we start the class. So we're going to start the class here. The 6th one is the Mandrake root, and it's actually just outside in the garden, so it's very quick, makes herbology a very easy class since we gathered all this ahead of time. Alright, so we're just gonna make our way out of the class here. It's just in this little garden patch out here. And we just make our way back in. All of a sudden, everybody's gone for whatever reason. Didn't see them leave, and there's no way they finish this faster than me, but whatever. But herbology is not technically over because our reward is 2 potion recipes, and we can only get potion recipes from Snape. So we have to go to Snape's office and go get them in order to end the class and finish it. Alright. So that's just over here. We're going into Snape's office instead of his classroom. You'll notice here, you'll notice here and basically at all points throughout the run that the goal for movement is to move diagonally as much as possible, just because that's the fastest way to move. Moving in straight lines obviously is fine, but it's not going to get you to from point A to point B fastest because diagonal covers more distance in a shorter amount of time. So it looks really weird because it'll look like Harry's walking straight, but then he's moving diagonally, so it's very odd. Next class is Transfiguration. I kind of spoiled this one for you already. We have to go capture an escaped purple rabbit. We have the gloves, so this is going to be a very quick class. We just have to head outside. It's just to the left of the castle entrance. And bada bing, bada boom. We'll be done with that. Hopefully without hitting an encounter. But I do get snuck up on a lot. Now, the game prevents an encounter from spawning directly on you, on your body, but it can spawn an encounter like immediately in front of you, like the second before you're going to be there. So it makes that unfortunate. Like, as much as we try to pause and or dodge encounters, there are some that we're just not going to be able to skip. And that's what makes it kind of unfortunate for us. But very simple. We got that covered. And now is my least favorite class, which is Charms. Classic movie or book moment, right? We're going to learn Wingardium Leviosa, which is absolutely useless for the run. We don't use it at all. But we have to do the class, so we have to learn it. But the way that we learn the spell is by doing a memory game that is just too long and just kind of weird. So it's just like using the D-pad and matching Flitwick's movements here, but it's very, very long. So you'll see. Just gonna focus a bit here so I don't screw it up, because it's slow to screw it up. So we have to make this feather float up 3 times. Luckily, this one was pretty easy. Alright, so you might think it's done, right? Nope. Now we gotta do a book. Same thing, float 3 times. And the pattern changes now. You can kind of notice it starts off with a certain number and then adds 2 new movements each time. Cool. Floated the book 3 times. We're probably done, right? Nope, we gotta float a stool now. That's the first one. Second one, and then this will be truly the last one. Alright, and as soon as we finish that last one, we can press enter to escape like the victory animation, which is good. And then in between these cutscenes, we're just moving down a little bit to get us a little bit closer to the door. Alright. So yeah, that's my least favorite class for obvious reasons. Just slow, it's unnecessary, and that is RNG every time, so there's not a pattern that I can memorize. It's RNG each time. It changes the pattern every time I do it. So it's so easy to just make a mistake there because there's so many patterns to memorize. Not my favorite part, but luckily we got through it unafflicted. Next is Defense Against the Dark Arts, which we are now afflicted, actually. Peeves comes down, he curses us because Peeves is a jerk. And now you'll see me blinking orange every few steps. If you've played Pokemon before, think of the poison condition here. Basically, every time I blink, I'm losing 1 health, which in a casual playthrough would be devastating because you'll probably die a couple times. You'll have to get some potions. It's kind of a nightmare. But we have 800 hit points, so it's not going to be a problem for us. And we're just going to go get the Cure Book, which is past this boss. Now, this boss typically takes 3 hits. If we get a crit, we can do it in 2, which would be nice. Now, we're going to get it in 3, which is fine. And after we defeat this boss, we're going to get the Curse Book to remove the curse. But that's also going to give us a new spell. I'm going to go in my inventory and use it. Oops. There we go. And that gives us the spell Mucus Ad Nauseam, which is going to be a very important spell for the end game. We're not going to use it until the end. But it's basically a poison spell, similar to the one we had cast on us. Basically, during combat, we're going to cast it, and it's going to deal a certain amount of damage each turn. 1 casting will give you 20, and you can actually cast it multiple times in order to stack the damage. So at one point, we're going to cast it 3 times in order to make the damage 40. It adds 10 each time after the initial casting. Alright, and we have one last class to do, which is History of Magic. This class is the most bonkers in concept for me. Like, I never could fully grasp why this would happen. But basically what's going to happen here is the Professor Binns is going to talk about a famous witch or wizard. I think their name is Cersei. And we're going to talk about how, like, hey, there was a mysterious person in Diagon Alley who had a card of that person. And Professor Binns like, cool, go to Diagon Alley and get that card, like, for your class. So everyone else is just going to sit here while Harry is going to take a train ride over to Diagon Alley to go talk to a shady individual to get a Witches and Wizards card. And then he's going to come back. So it's crazy. But basically, this is going to be a very simple boss fight. Hopefully, I didn't rub my scar off there. But very simple boss fight, and it's going to look very familiar, but it's going to have a much easier outcome. I am actually going to save before this fight starts, because the last practice run I tried to do of this game before the marathon, my game froze right here. And it's never happened to me before, but I don't want it to happen again, so just to be safe. Ah, yes, so we got our classic rat boss fight with just some palette swaps, but it's going to be a lot different now. We're going to use this Rain of Bludgers combo, and it's going to at least take out the 2 rats, the 2 smaller rats. If we get insanely lucky and it crits on the big rat and does enough damage, we can one-shot everything, but we didn't get it, so it's fine. That'd have to be like an insane amount of luck for that to happen. Basically, we take them out in one shot and do half damage to the rat, and then we just hit it again. No problem. We get the Witches and Wizard card we need. We just got to get out of here, making this Gringotts segment a lot better than the last one, honestly. All right, for the people here, I'm gonna try and get some swag movement that does not save time and just looks ridiculous. Let's see if I can get it. I think I got it. So Harry's supposed to be stationary during this cutscene, but I got it movement, and now he's walking through walls and stuff. And we're supposed to be focused on that shady individual, but instead I'm walking through walls. So there you go, for the people.
People. All right. Do I have a little bit of time to plug some stuff?
Of course, yeah. Please.
Everybody, it's me again. I'm just here to remind you what we are here for. We are here raising money for Save the Children. Save the Children is a global organization that has been around for over 100 years. And we have... God, I just forgot how to speak. I'm so sorry. So there's your laugh for the day. Grace just forgets what words are.
That's all right.
I can't stop laughing at myself. Donate to save the children. They're awesome. I'm just gonna stop.
That, you know what, the point was there, which is we need to donate to save the children because they're awesome, and I think that's a beautiful point. Well made. So you'll see here we're walking through the castle. It's dark. We're walking right in front of teachers because we just don't care. Basically, we were challenged by Draco to a duel. So we're gonna go meet him here, and we're gonna do 2 cutscene skips. One is right here, which is very easy. If we just move diagonal up and left, we'll skip it. And the other one is I'm walking around this room very purposefully and very strangely because I'm avoiding all cutscene triggers in the room. And by doing that, I'm saving about 30 seconds because there's a long Filch cutscene that can take place there. Nothing too complicated to do, you just have to follow that movement pattern, basically. Not too bad. Now, like I said, the castle is dark here, and usually the castle dark is very bad because the castle darkness means that encounters will spawn on castle floors now, which is very annoying to deal with because that also means that shortcuts are closed when this happens. I'll wait there for a second. So we have to walk all floors normally, but also encounters will hit us. And at this point, we do not want to hit an encounter because we're setting up a very important skip coming up. So you're gonna see me pause while walking here a little bit just to avoid letting it. I'm gonna let encounters spawn and then move, and that just helps me to not get sniped by them, hopefully. If we do hit an encounter, it's not a big deal, but it's gonna waste at least 30 seconds. So we don't want to lose that time. And then we'll make another skip a little bit harder. So we're gonna hope for the best here. We're on the last floor, so hopefully. All right, we're good. Nice. We played it a little bit more cautious than I normally would there, but it achieved the goal. So that's what's important. So yeah, for whatever reason, when we head down there the first time, no encounters will spawn, and that's inexplicable. I don't really know why. Maybe the game is just giving us a little bit of a reprieve there. But from the moment we see Fluffy afterwards, anytime the castle is dark, there will be encounters on the floor. And that's going to be important for later on too, when we set up arguably the next most important glitch in the game. But that's a little ways off. Now if you're a fan of Harry Potter, you're a fan of the books or the movies or both or whatever, the next part is gonna be familiar to you, the famous troll in the dungeon part, right? You know, and then Harry and Ron go and save Hermione from the troll by, you know, casting Wingardium Leviosa and stuff like that. So you might be looking forward to a troll fight, but we're gonna skip it. And the reason why I didn't want to hit an encounter is because we have to make sure our last encounter was a victory in order for the skip to work. So it was because it was that rat boss fight. But first, let's see if I get it here. There's another skip here. Oh, I missed it, but that's okay. This one loses just a little bit of time. If we pause on the exact frame, exact pixel rather, this cutscene would trigger, then we can skip the cutscene altogether. But it's just a quick little cutscene where we see the troll go in the bathroom, we see Snape walk away. Not too bad if we miss it, not the end of the world. But now we're gonna do the troll skip here, which I'm gonna do and then I'll talk about. And we got it, perfect. First try. So what just happened there was similar to the last skip that I tried to do to skip that cutscene. We paused on the exact pixel that we would be automatically moving towards the troll here to fight it. But what we do is we pause on that pixel, we move a little bit over to the right so we can see Hermione descend from the bottom here, because if we didn't move over to the right, then we would soft lock the game right there. But luckily we didn't, no soft locks. And then we pause the game, but instead of just unpausing, we have to go into our inventory menu. So we pause, we go into our inventory menu, and then we back out after moving a little bit to the right and pausing on the exact pixel. and that will just skip the fight altogether. So we don't even we don't see the troll, we don't fight the troll. It's all good. Now this section I like to call "We're going to Hagrid's," because we're gonna be going to Hagrid's hut, I think 4 or 5 times in these next probably 15 minutes or so. So get used to what this path looks like, because we'll be taking it quite a bit. Yeah, another really good reason why the troll fight is so good to skip is because it's the troll actually has the second most HP out of any enemy in this game, including bosses. So it has a chunky amount of HP. Look, we could defeat it easily, but it would waste probably like a minute, if not more, fighting it. Which it's just we don't have that kind of time, so we ain't gonna worry about that. Alright. So, it is Christmas now. Peeves stole our presents. What a jerk. We're gonna go get them back. Luckily, it's just on the floor below us in this hidden, Filch's office, I think is what it is. It's like a large broom cabinet / storage area, but I think it's meant to be Filch's office, which is kind of sad for him. Just in this chest here. Luckily we didn't hit any encounters, which is good. But we get in trouble because we're not supposed to be in Filch's office, even though that's where our presents are, and no one else is here. There are barely any students in the school, and we still lose points, so it's a little bit unfair, but, what are you gonna do? And now we can just head back up using shortcuts to the common room in order to open our presents, and we got a nice lengthy little cutscene here coming up. A little too low there, yep. Up to the common room, just a lot of movement into the floors. Daytime, so it's not a problem for us. And voila, nice cutscene here. But yeah, let's continue to get those donations in for Save the Children. Like I was talking about before, a wonderful organization that I've ran in marathons in support for several times. They do a lot of great work. They're assisting with the COVID-19 relief process as well. So this money not only goes to bettering, the education and feeding children and assisting them in whatever way they can. It's also assisting them in if they, happen to be dealing with a particular case of that illness. So let's get that money in. Let's get that support in. I'm dressed like Harry Potter for a reason. Let's get that money. In fact, I'll make a call right here. So we're basically, what's happening in the story right now is we have to head to the restricted section in order to do some information on Nicholas Flamel. We're just gonna try our best to avoid encounters and make our way down. So not a lot happening right now. Well, here I'd like to get even a $5 train going, maybe. That would be cool. I want to see some house pride. So everyone's got a house, right? Everyone knows if they're a Gryffindor, a Hufflepuff, a Ravenclaw, Slytherin, whatever you want. Some people, they insist that they're a fusion of 2 houses. That's great. Let's get a donation train going and seeing which house is going to get the most support. I think that's the best thing we can do. Let's do that. But now we're in the library. We're gonna do 2 things. This is the restricted section. We're gonna enter it. We're gonna go to this top bookshelf here, and we're gonna grab a spell book here for Petrificus Totalis, which is a paralyzing spell. That'll be very important for our in-fights as well. And then we just have to trigger the next part, which is by hitting another bookshelf and causing an alarm to go off. And then now we have to make our way back to the common room without getting detected. Now we're gonna go up 2 floors, but if we tried to go up another floor after that, Filch is gonna be blocking it. And if we bump into any teacher, if we touch another teacher, if we get even too close, we'll get caught and we have to do this entire sequence over again. So we're very careful not to bump into teachers, but instead of getting anywhere near Filch on that staircase, we're gonna come in this hallway and then trigger the Mirror of Erised sequence. And that will cause all of the teachers to disappear from the floors too. So that makes it a little easier for us to get back. All right. Very quick little cutscene there. And then back up, hopefully not hitting any encounters. I think we hit one. I think we hit one and it was a turtle. One thing that's crazy is despite us being level 99, there are plenty of enemies that are still faster than us. They still have better speed than we do, including turtles, which I think is insulting. But we can still outspeed, we could still run away from things that are faster than us, but it just makes it more difficult. And then if we fail to run away from a turtle, that's like the slowest thing that can happen because their attack animation, which by the way is shooting fire from their rear, is the slowest attack animation that there could be besides like casting a spell, I guess. Luckily we only hit that one encounter, it wasn't too bad. And we're gonna walk to Hagrid's here a bunch of times. Almost hit an encounter there, but I was able to pause out of it, which was good. Yeah, weirdly, the library during the day has encounters for us. I don't know. Kind of discourages from studying, in my opinion, but okay. Alright, and then this is just another, we're going to do a lot of segments in a row of going to Hagrid's, doing something, and then resetting, and then going to Hagrid's, and then doing something, and then it resets. This first one, we're going to head to Hagrid's, and he's going to talk to us about his dragon egg that he got. There we are. And so his dragon egg is going to hatch into Norbert, if you're familiar with the story. And we're going to be sent on a little fetch quest here. Norbert is a baby. Norbert is hungry. Norbert wants chickens. So we're going to go fight a bunch of chickens. We need to gather 5 chickens for Norbert. Now, you're going to see shortly that we're actually going to go right to where the chicken spawns. And make it so that we can get these encounters really, really fast, which is great. Might be a little bit too far over to the right, but it should be fine. And you'll see here, great, look, we got 3 chickens right here. Easy, right? So that's 3. Not quite, unfortunately. So we're gonna defeat these 3 chickens, but our reward is only 1 chicken. So we have to defeat 5 sets of 3 chickens to get 5 chickens. Luckily, we got this Rain of Bludgers card combo that makes it so we can defeat all of them in 1 turn, which is great. So it makes it quite a bit faster. And we're just gonna do this a total of 5 times. Now you might have noticed I saved right before this, not because these chickens do a particularly lot of damage, as you can tell, but occasionally, and this has only happened to me once, I think, you can, if you continuously fight chickens like this, you will freeze the game. Not even soft lock, the game will crash. So I saved there just in case we do get a game crash. Hopefully we don't. It's only happened to me once ever, and I think I have close to 1,200 attempts on this game, so. So that was 2 chickens, this is 3. But yeah, otherwise not much going on. So yeah, I want to hear from you guys what your houses are, things like that. Do you have a house animated?
Yeah, Slytherin.
Oh, Slytherin, very cool, very cool. I'm a Gryffindor myself. Hence why I have the clothes, makes the Harry Potter cosplay easy, because that's what I would wear anyway, so. So yeah, hopefully we get some donations in to hear about what, how, you know, the pride of Ravenclaw or Hufflepuff or Slytherin or Gryffindor, obviously, too. Well, yeah, I want to hear about people's houses and how they see themselves. It's always very interesting to me. Alright, this is the last chicken that we have to fight, thankfully. It's a little lengthy of a segment that we have to do, but we have to get the chickens. There's no way to skip it, so we have to do it to progress the story. But this Reign of Bludgers card combo, we actually did not used to use this. It was probably about 2 months ago, maybe a little less, that we discovered that we could do that, because we discovered that infinite card glitch about 2 months ago. Before, we didn't have a way to infinitely duplicate cards like we did. We used to just buy like 100 frogs, and then we would get 100 cards. So that would very much limit how many card combos that we can do. Now that we have a way to duplicate cards as much as we want, we can kind of use card combos a little bit more freely. And it enabled us to grab this Reign of Bludgers card combo, and now we have this AoE thing. But before, for chickens, what we used to do is we used to use Petrificus Totalis, which paralyzes all of your enemies, and we used to have to one by one attack them. So this segment, as long as it was, would take about at least 30 to 40 seconds more because we had to attack each one of them individually as opposed to just one at a time. And the good thing about it too is that Reign of Bludgers can't miss. It can only hit or crit, but we can miss. So we would cast spells and we could miss, and they would just waste a turn. So definitely a lot faster doing it this way. But now, we're gonna go down to Hagrid's again. We're still on this Norbert section. We've decided that Norbert's gonna go with Ron's brother Charlie, who trains dragons in Romania. We're gonna go tell Hagrid about that, but we're gonna see very closely at, you know, fortunately we hit this encounter. We're gonna see Norbert's gotten away, and we're gonna have to catch it, and this is gonna be our second flying minigame. Now, luckily, this second flying minigame is a lot more forgiving than the one with Draco earlier. Because for some reason, you can't quote-unquote one-cycle this one. Meaning, like, you can't just get 0 hits and get to it as fast as possible. Because for whatever reason, at some point, Norbert will get a little speed boost and just pull away for you for no reason. So you can actually get hit with up to 3 fireballs and not lose time. Also, a very interesting point of order, there are fireballs flying at us in general. And you would think, hey, maybe the Norbert the dragon is casting the fireballs, right? And then just like trying to hit us. But we're trying to catch Norbert. He's not shooting fireballs at us. Where do the fireballs come from? I don't know. I don't got answers for you. I'm just curious. Alright, so finally we're going to finish this Norbert section. And we're actually going to be setting up the second most important glitch in the game, and this glitch is called lighting. So I'm just gonna, it's very involved as what we're gonna do. So lighting is a glitch that accomplishes up 2 things, one main thing but one secondary thing. The main thing is that it functions as a death warp. So we're actually, if done successfully, we will be warping from Hagrid's hut to the 4th floor, because when we die, we are brought to the hospital wing, which is on the 4th floor. So if done successfully, we will be able to death warp and save us probably like a minute or more of movement each time we do it. We're gonna try to do it 3 times. The second thing is that because Hagrid's hut, for whenever we enter it, the lights are on, even if it's dark, even if it's, you know, it's supposed to be dark outside, Hagrid's hut's lights are always on. So because we do this death warp glitch called lighting in Hagrid's hut, whenever we do complete it successfully, it will also be lit up in the castle, which means that there won't be encounters on the floor, which is great. 2 out of the 3 times we try this death warp, it will, if it done successfully, it will create that lighting. The third time, we're going to be doing it in the dark, so it won't achieve that lighting, but we don't need it anyway. So the way that it's accomplished is by using a card combo, and we're trying to kill ourselves, basically. So what we're actually going to do here is we're going to grab the crate that has Norbert in it, and we're actually going to save and quit. All right, we're going to reset. Now, this glitch is about 25% to work at any given time. So hopefully we get a little lucky. So hopefully, let's see. Nope, we didn't get it there. So as you can see, we're using a card combo, and because we don't have an encounter, we saved and quit, so we don't have a last encounter. I'm just gonna try this one more time. Oops. Oop, jeez. There we go. Because we don't, when we save and quit, it removes our last encounter status. So it doesn't know what to do when we use a card combo like this. So basically it throws out 3 versions of us. And the hope is that the one that we control goes first. But because there's 4 Harrys on the screen, they're all identical, which means they all have the same speed, which means that at any point, any one of them could go first. We want ours to go first because if we try to cast a spell on ourselves, it hits ourselves, and as long as we're the ones who do it, even if it hits for 0 damage, it causes us to die and warp like such. Now the castle is illuminated and we warped, and it saves us a bunch of time. We're gonna do another little cutscene skip by hugging the wall here. Saves about 10 seconds. And we're trying our best not to hit any encounters here. A little off script there, but we didn't hit an encounter, which is good. So that is lighting. I'm going to be donating $5 for each attempt at lighting I have to do, with a minimum of $20 as a donation. So right now that was 2 attempts, and that's $10. Now, I've successfully achieved the glitch, right? So that's great. We love that. If we can keep this by not hitting any encounters, then we don't have to reactivate the glitch stays active. So all we would have to do is use a card combo, and then we'll die immediately, 100% success rate. Because now what the game is reading is that our last encounter was a defeat. So if we duplicate that, that causes us to die. Now, the reason why you can't just be like, oh, why don't you just get into an encounter and let things die for you, is as you can see, since we're level 99, things would take forever to kill us. We have 800 hit points and they don't do a lot of damage against us. So we can't just simply go fight an encounter and let it take us down. It would take forever. At that point, it would be faster just to walk. So right now it is dark out. We're getting detention for our shenanigans with with Norbert and going in the astronomy tower. So we actually have to go to the Forbidden Forest. And right now, and we do it around midnight. So right now it is dark, it is nighttime, but the castle is illuminated and we're gonna go outside and it's gonna be bright and sunny. And that's because we activated that glitch. And again, we're gonna try our darndest to not hit an encounter here. It is very, very difficult to do because like I said, we're about to enter the Forbidden Forest, which is dark by default. It doesn't have a daytime setting. So anytime you enter the forest, it can only be dark. It can't be light. So it's gonna remove like the lighting portion of the glitch for us, which is fine because we're gonna try to reactivate it anyway. But the other thing that makes it annoying is that it's full of long and narrow pathways, which means that there's very little space for an encounter to spawn, which means that there's very little space for you to escape, or it makes it easier for you to get sniped by an encounter. So ideally, we're gonna try to not hit a single one this whole time. I'm gonna tell you right now, I probably will. If I didn't, that's hype. That's crazy. If I make it back to Hagrid's hut again without hitting an encounter, we should be excited. But I'm telling you right now, I probably will. So we we're gonna go to a tree there, pick up a pepper up potion for later, which is gonna heal our magic, and basically we're just gonna try to make our way through here without hitting an encounter. And hope for the best. There's not really much we can control. Sorry for my dog barking in the background there.
Good, but I do. Donation if there is some.
Please go ahead.
Get a $5 donation for your $5 train earlier, which was from Quo, just saying he's a Hufflepuff, but specifically the book version, not the movie version.
Interesting. Okay, very nice. Hufflepuffs represent underappreciated house, in my opinion. As you might have noticed, by the way, we did hit an encounter there, so we're gonna have to try and save and quit and reactivate the glitch again, which is fine by me because that just gives us more opportunities for fundraising, so no worries. So I'm Gryffindor. We have animated elf here, Slytherin. We have Hufflepuff representation in the donations. Where are Ravenclaws at? Where are Ravenclaws at?
They're smart enough to know not to be here.
You know, but they should be here because we're doing important work, you know? Raising money. Save the children. I know plenty of Ravenclaws want to support that, so let's get those donos in. But yeah, besides that, this is just a long, arduous segment where we have a few cutscenes in between, but basically we're trying to just get to the end. Where the unicorn is, and trying to hit as few encounters as possible. That's all. There's not really anything else of note besides that. I'm hugging the tops of walls as much as I can because it shrinks my hitbox, so it makes it so I'll hit encounters less frequently. That's it. Let's see here. A caution to the wind now since we already hit an encounter. Who cares? There we go. Alright, so this is the end of the forest where we need to be, but after this cutscene, we have to still walk our way all the way back. Luckily, there are no cutscenes to stop us, so it's a little bit faster in that way, but so you might get to this point, you might not have hit an encounter, which happens to me often. Usually if I hit an encounter in the forest, it's on my way back, not on my way there, for whatever reason. Probably because all these cutscenes make it so it shrinks it a little bit, less walking space because it's automatic. But yeah, you might think you're safe here, but you're not entirely safe, not yet, because now we gotta walk our way back. So oop, stuck on the corner there. That's another thing too, is that hitboxes in these things are very strange on NPCs and on corners and stuff. Like, you can get stuck on corners and all that so easily in this game. But yeah, so far so good. Just the one encounter. Go, very good. 2 more screens after this one, so this is third to last. This is the second to last one. This is one where I hit, this screen right here is where I hit encounters all the time, because when you enter the screen, all you have is one single narrow passageway, and that's all that, and you can't get out of it before an encounter spawns. So like, I will hit encounters there constantly, like I just did. So. And this is the last screen, which is pretty safe because there's a vertical wall the whole time. A horizontal wall the whole time, not vertical. That would be strange. But yeah, even after the forest, there's a small segment right here, as I was about to explain. You can make it out, no encounters that whole time, and then you could still get hit by an encounter on your way back up to Hagrid's, which just happened to me. So now we're in Hagrid's hut. We're going to save and quit again. We're going to try to activate the lighting glitch. Oop. Where is it? There it is. We have so many items that it got pushed to our third screen, which almost never happens. Very good, very good. I'm not used to getting that first try on the second one. For whatever reason, I have much worse luck on the second attempt at lighting like this. Usually I'll get the first one in 1 or 2 tries like I did. And then the second one, if I have to do it again, it might take me like 5, 6, 7 tries. But we got it in 1, which is good. Oops, I forgot we could have just taken a shortcut, but it's alright, we're just gonna walk the long way now because I'm already halfway through. For whatever reason, after detention, even though it's dark time, it shows light time right now because we did lighting, but even though it's dark time, you can shortcuts are active, so you can actually go right from floor 4 to floor 7. But instead, I wanted to take the scenic route, because why not? I don't know why I didn't take the shortcut, but here we go. Because the screen is supposed to be dark, Hermione's hair color is glitched right here as well. And Ron's to an extent, but more so Hermione's. Alright, so we have one more instance that we're trying to use this death warp. And we only have a small little chunk of area that we can hit an encounter, which is from here to the castle doors. So hopefully we don't hit an encounter and then we won't have to reactivate the glitch. But right now we're up to 3 attempts at lighting. And like I said, $5 donation from me per attempt, so $15, but I said a minimum of 20. And we're gonna hit just the minimum because I have to do it a 4th time. So $20 is gonna be from me after this run, so. So pretty good RNG there. Like I said, it's 25%, 1 in 4 chance that that glitch works. And we tried it 3 times and got it twice, so that's pretty good. The magic of RNG on our side. So now basically we're triggering the in-game events. We're gonna go up here and we're gonna go to the common room and wait till it's dark, and then we're gonna enter the classic sequence where we have to deal with all the teacher challenges in order to get to the Sorcerer's Stone. Arguably the coolest part of the story, in my opinion, because I love seeing how all the teachers made creative challenges for us to do. Oops. Now, the last death warp, it doesn't actually take us to the hospital wing. For whatever reason, if you die from this point forward, it'll automatically warp you to the door where Fluffy is instead of the hospital wing. So right now, since the lighting glitch is active, we didn't hit an encounter, we can just go in our inventory, oops, and use a card combo, and it'll work automatically. And that saves us having to walk from floor 7 to floor 3, and we can just go right in there. Now, we don't get an encounter with Fluffy or anything like that, it's just a cutscene. We skip right by Fluffy and onto the Devil's Snare, the first of the teacher challenges. And this one is pretty self-explanatory, not too hard. So we have 2 small tendrils of the plant and 1 big one. And like before, we're gonna hit the small ones first and then the big one. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna Petrificus Totalis first to paralyze all 3 branches. And the hope is that the big branch stays paralyzed until the small ones are dead. It's not a guarantee. If it breaks out, then we're gonna have to reparalyze. But it held through, so that's good. And then if we get super lucky, if we crit the big branch, it'll die in 1 shot. But almost always we have to do 2. Yeah, 2 shot, that's fine. And of course we're using Incendio, a fire spell on the plants, because that just makes sense. Alright, then we can actually hit an encounter here if we get unlucky, but we luckily dodged it. Next challenge is our 3rd and final flying minigame, but instead of a side scroller, it's actually a vertical scroller. And it doesn't scroll at all, we actually control all of the movement. But it's definitely the most annoying. So we have to go to the very top of the screen and get the necessary key to open the door. And these keys are everywhere. And they can just mess you up. There's not a good way to, you know, like a certain path to avoid getting hit by keys. So best case scenario is that you're going over to the side of the screen in hopes that keys that fly off the side of the screen don't respawn, so that there's a little bit of a gap here. And then you're just gonna make your way up and grab the key. That was pretty slow, unfortunately, but you can get lucky and get quite a fast one. That's your keys. Now we got wizard's chess. No actual chess mechanics for this game for us. We just have to fight some chess pieces. This fight is a 3-turn fight unless we get a crit, so let's hope to see some orange numbers. But basically, we're just going to be taking down 3 chess pieces in a row. So if we have any like donations or plugs that we want to do now, would be a really good time because the end of the game kind of ramps up.
All right. We do not have any donations currently, but you have about from now until time is called to finish getting in your donations for the next run. We have Mickey Mania coming up, and you do have the opportunity to pick which game is getting run. So try to get some donations in really quick here in this last like 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Those games are really cool too. So I really like the Mickey, platformer games. I'm a big fan of them. So if you have a preference, definitely get those in. I talked about how that previous fight was a 3-turn fight, but we got a miss, which made it a 4-turn fight, unfortunately. This one's also a 3-turn fight with no crits. And we didn't get any again, so standard 3-turn fight. And the last one is 5 to 6 turns without a crit, and hopefully we see a crit just to save us some time, but we have not been very crit lucky this run, so we've been lucky in other ways, but not with crits. Right in our... Let's see. So that's 1 hit. Oh, we got one! So the 2 and 3 hits. It could still be a 6 turn, so this could still be 5 turns if we get low rolls, but I think we can do it in 4. We got a low roll, so it's gonna be 5. That's unfortunate. It would have been so if we can get a 5-turn fight without crits. That's why I say it's unfortunate. But that crit was a little bit of a waste, but not too much, because that would have been a 6-turn fight anyway. So, all right, we have 2 more challenges, which are the potions challenge and then our final bosses. I'm gonna grab this health potion just for safety. I probably won't need it. The second and last challenge here is the potions minigame, which I'm gonna save before just in case, but I feel pretty confident. And basically, this is a game of mastermind, so it's just as fast as we can solve the riddle. Yeah, pretty fast, not too bad. And basically, you're just trying to figure out one at a time which of the ingredients it works for the potion that we need. And now we're on to the final bosses. First, we're gonna fight Quirrell, and then we're gonna fight Voldemort, and we're gonna fight them in the exact same way, and they're both gonna be glitched pretty well. So we're gonna be using the enemy attack skip, which if you remember, I talked about at the beginning of the turn, which is where we press A in between us using an item or fleeing, and then the enemy's turn. But we're gonna be doing it in a bit of a special way here. So first, we're gonna paralyze Quirrell. Then we're going to use that mucus ad nauseum I was telling you folks about earlier to poison Quirrell 3 times, so it stacks to 40 damage. And luckily, when we cast a poison spell, it does not break you out of paralysis. Unfortunately, he broke out naturally there, so we're gonna re-paralyze. And then we're gonna use an item, doesn't matter which one. Oops, fell off the chain there, that's my fault. Okay, not too bad. The reason why I got a little nervous there is because when I fell off of the chain, Quirrell poisoned me as well. So you saw that the poison damage was continuously stacking there. And that's because I'm continuously lagging the screen on purpose in order for that poison damage to just be continually loaded. And the reason why I got a little bit nervous is because the poison damage was not only being loaded onto Quirrell, but I was poisoned at the time as well. So it got a little bit scary, But we made it out alive, so not a big deal. Let's just in case. Time is coming up, by the way. And time. Not too bad of a run. A mid 114 is pretty good. Pretty good. So that's time on the run. I'm just going to show you one quick thing in the post game here a little bit, since we finished a decent chunk ahead of estimate, which is the one thing that makes this game a little bit different is that if you're playing it casually and normally, you see the points here, the house points. You can lose the house cup easily. So even after Dumbledore gives you all these points where he gives Harry like 60 points and Hermione and Ron 50 points each and Neville 10 points, we could still lose the house cup. It doesn't matter. But because we did so many skips in the run and really eliminated the ability for points to be added for other houses, we have a set factor that will make it so that Gryffindor wins each time. If we had missed just one skip, which is the cutscene right before I enter the tower when I have Norbert in the crate on my back, it would have cost Slytherin to lose points, which would have set the RNG off to make it so that Ravenclaw would have won. So just an interesting fact there. But that's Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Just want to thank NASA Marathon for having me on. I will be also in the marathon on Sunday playing Pokemon Red Any% Glitchless. So definitely check that out. Check out the other runs for the marathon. Support Save the Children. If you like this game, you're interested in running it for yourself, we do have a Harry Potter handheld speedrunning Discord, and it has a lot of really good resources. So just visit the speedrun.com page for this game, which is speedrun.com/HP1GBC, and just click on the Discord link there to join. And we're a really friendly group, very welcoming, very friendly to new runners and beginners as well. So if you're interested, come and give us a join. If you have questions about it, you can always message me on Discord or Twitch, twitch.tv/Konception2, and I'll be happy to help you there as well. Thanks so much again for having me, and enjoy the rest of the marathon. Swish and flick.
Thanks so much.
Terrific. We're off.
Krishna. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys for having me.
Ja.
I'll see you guys. I mean, I'll be running Pokemon later this week, so I'll likely see some of you or maybe some different staff later, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
Peace.
Peace out.
Oh, darn it. I'm confusing my push to talk buttons, I guess. All right, everybody, we are finishing up right now for the next game, which will be starting soon, but I just quickly wanted to let you guys know why we were here again. We are here for Save the Children. We vibing. But we are here vibing and watching these speedruns for Save the Children. And according to a Save the Children report released this week, it was revealed that the most disadvantaged counties in the U.S. are most usually of communities of color, and nearly all are rural, poor, and concentrated in the South. The bottom-ranked counties are also in the same areas that are being hit the hardest by the effects of the coronavirus pandemic. The county rankings in the third U.S. complement to the Global Childhood Report are based on 4 factors that cut childhood short: hunger, dropping out of school, teenage pregnancy, and early death due to poor health, accident, murder, or suicide. Among more than 2,600 counties examined and ranked, over 90% of the bottom-ranked counties were rural, nearly 2/3 are in the South, and 3/4 contain non-white majority populations. Children living in bottom-ranked counties die at rates up to 5 times those of children in the highest-ranked counties in their state. They are also up to 3 times as likely to struggle with hunger, 14 as likely to drop out of high school, and girls are 26 times more likely to get pregnant in their teens. The national findings also reveal that 1 in every 8 children across America experiences shockingly high rates of hunger, dropping out of school, teenage pregnancy, and/or childhood death. Save the Children is calling on America's policymakers at all levels of government to work together to robustly support children regardless of where they live, craft strong child-centric policies, provide sufficient resources, and create an appropriate environment for relevant early childhood programs and interventions to flourish. Save the Children. Betsy Zorio, Vice President of U.S. Programs and Advocacy from Save the Children, had this to say: "A child does not decide where to live, and where a child grows up should not dictate his or her future. We need targeted new investments for the most vulnerable children who are being left behind, because childhood should not be left to chance. Raising a more successful generation of children will benefit our nation and the world for years to come. Today's children are tomorrow's engineers, nurses, teachers, firefighters, entrepreneurs, inventors, humanitarians, and simply put, leaders." We at NASA Marathon agree wholeheartedly with this message and hope that you are willing to donate to Save the Children to continue and pursue these goals. If you would like to learn more about these issues and how Save the Children is helping to further systematically change, you can read their report linked now in chat.
त्यही त मैले चाहिँ धेरै पैसा कमाएर मेरो मम्मीलाई चाहिँ एकदम सहयोग गर्ने इच्छा थियो मेरो। यो काम गर्दा चाहिँ धेरै दुःख भयो, पैसा थोरै पाए तिमीहरूले यो औषधि बेच्यो भने चाहिँ तिमीहरूले धेरै पैसा पाउँछौ अरू तिमीहरूले राम्रो पनि लाउन पाउँछौ, राम्रो खान पाउँछौ भनेर चाहिँ तिनीहरूले चाहिँ अब यो दबाई बेचेर आइसकेपछि चाहिँ अब पैसा धेरै हुन्छ, तिमीहरू आफ्नो घरमा गएर तिम्रो आफ्नो मम्मी बुवाहरूलाई सहयोग गर्न सक्छौ। त्यही त त्यहाँ पुगेपछि चाहिँ अब मैले सोधेँ कि तिनीहरूले यहाँ के काम गर्ने भनेर सोद्धाखेरि चाहिँ अब उनले भन्यो कि अब यस्तै काम गर्ने हो, तिमीलाई चाहिँ 1 लाख रुपियाँमा बेचेर गएको छ, तिमी यहीँ बसेर अब यही धन्दा गरेर चाहिँ तिमी अब 2-3 वर्ष यहीँ बस्नुपर्छ। मैले चाहिँ सोचेको थिएँ कि वस्तुहरूलाई मात्रै बेच्छ भनेर, तर मान्छेलाई पनि बेचेर चाहिँ आफू चाहिँ एकदम स्वार्थी बन्दो रहेछन्।